My family mocked me for being broke, not knowing I paid their bills. You'll always be a worthless nobody. My aunt snickered as they toasted behind my back. I stayed quiet. Until this morning. I never thought I'd be posting here, but after what happened at yesterday's family dinner, I need to get this off my chest. Fair warning, this might be long, but I promise it's worth the read. Some background. I'm Lucas, 29M, and 5 years ago my parents passed away in a car accident. They left behind a modest house and some savings, which I've managed carefully while looking after our extended family. My Aunt Karen, 52F, Uncle Kevin, 54M, and my cousins Brock, 27M, and Marcos, 25M. What my family doesn't know is that I've been the one keeping them afloat financially through a trust arrangement my parents set up. Yesterday was supposed to be a regular Sunday dinner at Aunt Karen's house. Everyone was there, gathered around the dining table that my parents bought them years ago. I brought a homemade lasagna, my mom's recipe. As I walked in, I caught the tail end of Aunt Karen's conversation with Marcos about his new AirPods Pro. At least someone in this family knows how to treat themselves, she said, shooting me a look. I ignored it, like always. The dig was obvious. See, I drive a 2012 Toyota that I've maintained meticulously, live in a modest apartment, and generally keep my lifestyle simple. Not because I'm broke, I'm actually doing quite well, but because I learned the value of money from my parents. Plus, I'm the one paying 70% of their mortgage, but they think it's coming from some government assistance program after my parents' death. I never corrected them. Dinner started normally enough. Uncle Kevin was bragging about his golf club membership, that I secretly pay for, and Brock was showing off his new smartwatch. Then came the moment that broke me. Lucas honey, Aunt Karen started, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. Don't you think it's time you got yourself a better car? I mean, that old thing of yours. What will people think? Your father always knew how to present himself. I took a bite of lasagna, staying quiet. The same lasagna she'd praised minutes earlier, not knowing it was homemade because she assumed I couldn't afford good food. Leave him alone, Mom. Marcos chimed in, not helping at all. Not everyone can afford nice things. Lucas is doing his best. The condescension in his voice made my stomach turn. This from a guy whose car payments I've been covering for the past 3 years. Then came the kicker. They started discussing their upcoming family vacation to Florida, a trip they hadn't bothered to invite me to. I sat there, silently eating, knowing that the credit card they'd booked it on was being paid through the family trust I manage. We need this getaway, Uncle Kevin announced. Some of us work hard enough to deserve nice things. He clinked glasses with Brock, both of them smirking in my direction. I maintained my composure, but something in me shifted when Aunt Karen spoke next. You know, Lucas, you'll always be a worthless nobody like your father was before he got lucky in his career. At least he figured it out eventually. You? I'm not so sure. The room got quiet. Even my cousins looked uncomfortable. They didn't agree with her, but they didn't defend me either. My father, their brother, had been an incredible man who built everything from scratch. He wasn't lucky. He was smart and hardworking. And he taught me everything I know about managing money and helping family. I stood up, calmly cleaned my plate and said I had work in the morning. As I was leaving, I heard them laughing in the dining room. Aunt Karen's voice carried, maybe we should start a GoFundMe for poor Lucas. More laughter. They didn't see me stop in the hallway. They didn't see me take out my phone and open my banking app. They didn't see me start making calls to my financial advisor first thing this morning. They have no idea what's coming. I've been patient for 5 years, watching them waste money while mocking my poverty, playing the role of the struggling nephew while secretly keeping their lifestyle afloat. But yesterday something snapped. Not in an angry way. In a calm, clear way. I know exactly what I need to do. This is just the beginning. I'll update when things start moving forward. Let's just say their comfortable little world is about to get a reality check, and I won't feel bad about it for a second. Update 1. First, thank you all for the overwhelming support on my previous post. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours, and I need to share some details about just how deep this situation goes. Some of you guessed parts of it, but the reality is even more frustrating. After yesterday's dinner fiasco, I spent the morning going through all the financial records. I knew the numbers, but seeing them laid out hit differently after Aunt Karen's worthless nobody comment. Let me break down exactly what my broke lifestyle has been supporting. Their 4-bedroom house? I've been covering 70% of the $2,200 monthly mortgage payment. That's $1,540 every month, pulled directly from the trust I manage. They think it's some kind of government assistance program for families of accident victims. Never once questioned it. Uncle Kevin's precious golf club membership. $250 monthly. His business expenses, he calls it. He doesn't even have a business. Then there's my cousins. Brock's 2020 Jeep. $485 monthly payment. Marcos's 2021 Honda. $425. Both paid through the trust. They think it's coming from some insurance payout. But here's what really got me this morning. I was checking my Instagram, and there's Aunt Karen posting photos of their upcoming Florida trip. The caption, some people know how to live life right, #blessed #family vacation. The comments section was worse. Found this exchange between her and Marcos. Marcos, can't wait, too bad cousin Lucas can't afford to join us. Aunt Karen, some people just don't know how to manage money, honey. Brock, maybe he should learn to invest like dad. The vacation they're mocking me about, $4,800 charged to the family credit card. The one I pay for. But wait, it gets better. This afternoon, I had to drop off some documents at their house. Nobody was home, but I have a key. I'm the emergency contact after all. As I was leaving the papers in Uncle Kevin's study, I noticed some printed emails on his desk. They're planning a huge Labor Day barbecue. The neighborhood is invited, except me. The email chain was something else. Karen. We can't have Lucas there. His old car and cheap clothes will embarrass us in front of the Johnsons. Kevin. Agreed. Tell him we're keeping it small this year. Brock. Dad, that's kind of harsh. Kevin. Life's harsh. He needs to learn to do better for himself. Next to these emails, quotes for a $15,000 kitchen renovation they're planning. Guess who they expect to find the money for that? I sat in my car for a while after seeing those emails. Not sad. Just done. Completely done. Called my financial advisor again. Spent 2 hours going over every single payment, every account, every transaction from the past 5 years. The numbers are staggering. House payments, $92,400. Car payments, $43,680. Various credit cards, $68,000. Emergency expenses, $31,200. Utilities and bills, $28,800. Total, $264,080. That's what my poor lifestyle has paid for. Meanwhile, I've been living in my $1,200 apartment, driving my paid-off Toyota, and getting mocked for being bad with money. The real kicker came tonight. My cousin Marcos just texted me. Hey cuz, hate to ask but could you spot me $50 for gas? Tight until payday. I know things are rough for you but maybe you have a little spare. I looked at his Instagram while that text sat there. He posted a story 2 hours ago showing off his new $400 gaming headset. I didn't respond. Instead I made some calls, set some things in motion. The trust that's been funding their lifestyle. It's not as simple as just cutting them off. But there are ways. Legal ways. Properly documented ways. They think I'm a pushover. The family disappointment. The broke cousin who can't manage money. That's fine. Let them think that for a few more days. I have all the documentation. Every payment. Every transfer. Every receipt. 5 years of records. Meticulously kept. My parents taught me well, even if Aunt Karen thinks they just got lucky. Tomorrow, I start phase 1. I'll update once things are in motion. Update 2. Thanks for waiting for this update. These past 48 hours have been intense. Everything is now in place, but let me tell you what happened at what will probably be our last family dinner. After my last post, I spent 2 days meticulously preparing everything. Met with my financial advisor, documented every payment and set up a clear exit strategy. But then Aunt Karen called, insisting I come to dinner again. Said they needed to discuss something important with me. I knew exactly what I was walking into, but I went anyway. Time to see their true colors one last time. I arrived at 6 p.m. sharp. The first thing I noticed, Aunt Karen's new granite countertops being installed. The workers were just finishing up. Remember that $15,000 kitchen renovation I mentioned? Apparently they decided to start early. With my money of course. Lucas, Aunt Karen beamed with fake enthusiasm. Don't mind the mess? We're just doing a little upgrading. You know how it is. Well, maybe you don't. I just nodded and walked in. The whole family was there, dressed up like it was a formal occasion. Brock was showing off his new smartwatch to Marcos, who kept glancing at me with this weird mix of pity and superiority. Uncle Kevin pulled me aside before dinner. Listen sport, we need to have a serious talk about your future. Your attitude is bringing down the family's image. The audacity of this man, wearing the golf club polo I paid for, telling me about image. Dinner started tense. They'd ordered expensive takeout, on the family credit card, naturally. Then Aunt Karen cleared her throat and dropped their bomb. Lucas honey, we've been talking as a family. She paused, savoring her moment. We think it's best if you skip the Labor Day barbecue. And maybe future gatherings too. Until you improve your situation. Brock at least had the decency to look uncomfortable. Marcos just kept eating. The Johnsons are coming, Uncle Kevin added. And their daughter just bought a house. We can't have you showing up in that car, wearing those clothes. It reflects poorly on us. I took another bite of my food I was technically paying for, and waited. Plus, Aunt Karen continued, getting worked up. Your constant reminder of your financial struggles. It's just bringing everyone down. Maybe if you'd listened to your uncle about investments. That's when I interrupted her. First time ever. Which investments would those be, Aunt Karen? She stuttered. Well, Kevin, tell him about your investments. Uncle Kevin puffed up. My golf club membership has excellent networking opportunities. That's how investing works, boy. But you wouldn't understand that, living like you do. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app. Those networking opportunities, they wouldn't happen to be the ones I've been paying $250 a month for, would they? The room went dead silent. What are you talking about? Aunt Karen snapped. I smiled. Actually smiled. Let's talk numbers, shall we? Would you like to start with the mortgage, the cars, or the credit cards? Marcos laughed nervously. What's he talking about, Mom? He's obviously confused, Aunt Karen said quickly. The house payments come from the government assistance program after his parents. There is no government program, I said calmly. There never was. It's all been me, through the trust my parents set up. Every single payment. Uncle Kevin stood up, face red. Now you listen here. No, I cut him off. You listen. For 5 years I've paid your mortgage, your cars, your bills, your golf club membership, your vacations, everything. Brock dropped his fork. That's not. Mom, what's he talking about? Aunt Karen's face went from red to white. You're lying. You can barely afford gas for that trash car of yours. I started showing them screenshots, bank statements, transfer records, everything. The Florida vacation you're planning, already canceled. The kitchen renovation? Hope you got a good deposit deal. Day barbecue? Might want to scale that down. They exploded, all of them, screaming, denying, threatening. Aunt Karen knocked over her wine glass, staining her new tablecloth red. Uncle Kevin kept yelling about lawyers. Marcos just kept repeating, "This isn't funny, man," over and over. I stayed seated, kept eating. Let them tire themselves out. Finally, when they quieted down, I stood up. Check your emails tomorrow morning, all of you. Everything will be explained in detail, including the 60-day notice for new payment arrangements. Aunt Karen lunged forward, grabbing my arm. "You can't do this to us. We're family. Family." I pulled my arm away. Family doesn't call family worthless. Family doesn't exclude family from gatherings. Family doesn't mock family for being broke while secretly living off their money. I walked to the door, turned back one last time. "By the way, that trash car of mine? Fully paid off. Unlike your cars, your house or anything else you own." Left them all standing there, screaming and crying. Got in my car, drove home. Their phones have been blowing up my phone ever since. Texts, calls, voicemails, ranging from threats to begging to promises to change. Too late. Everything is prepared. Documents are ready. Lawyers are on standby. Tomorrow morning, they get the official notices. Final update coming in 72 hours. This ends now. Finally update. It's been a wild 72 hours since my last update. Buckle up, because this is exactly how everything went down. Monday morning, 9 a.m. sharp, the emails went out. Detailed documentation of every payment, every transfer, every bill I've covered for the past 5 years, plus official notice, all financial support ends in 60 days. I turned off my phone and went to grab coffee. When I turned it back on 2 hours later, I had 47 missed calls, 156 text messages, 13 voicemails, 28 Facebook messages, 16 emails. Aunt Karen was first to show up at my apartment. Didn't even knock, just started pounding on the door around noon. "Lucas, open this door right now. You can't do this to us." I opened the door. She barged in, mascara running, waving her phone with the email displayed. "This is a joke, right? This has to be a joke." Her voice was shrill enough to alert my neighbors. "No joke," I said calmly. "You have 60 days to arrange new financing for everything. We'll be ruined. The mortgage, the cars, everything. How could you do this to family?" "Family?" I laughed. "Let's talk about family. Let's talk about calling me worthless. About excluding me from gatherings. About mocking my cheap lifestyle while living off my money." She switched tactics instantly, crying, trying to hug me. "We didn't know. We're sorry. We can change." "No, Aunt Karen, you can't. The trust dissolves in 60 days. Everything stops. The mortgage, the car payments, the credit cards, all of it." That's when Uncle Kevin burst in. Apparently, she'd texted him my address. He was red-faced, veins popping. "You ungrateful little." He stepped toward me aggressively. "Bad move. One more step," I said calmly. "And I call the police. Then the payments stop today instead of in 60 days. He froze, the reality of the situation finally hitting him. Then my cousins arrived. Brock looked shell-shocked. Marcos was alternating between begging and threatening. "My car," Marcos kept saying. "What about my car?" "You have 60 days to refinance or return it," I replied. "Not my problem anymore." "But I just quit my job last week," he screamed. "I was going to take time to find myself. Better start looking fast then." The next few hours were chaos. Aunt Karen crying on my couch. Uncle Kevin pacing, making calls to his golf club connections for loans. Marcos panicking about his car. Brock just sitting there, staring at nothing. Then Aunt Karen tried one last tactic. "Your parents would be ashamed of you." The room went silent. I walked to my bedroom, came back with a folder. Inside, letters from my parents, detailing exactly how the trust should be used. For genuine family emergencies. For education. For health issues. Not for golf memberships and luxury vacations. "My parents," I said quietly, "taught me the value of money. They worked hard for everything they had. They set up this trust to help family in need, not fund your lifestyle. They'd be ashamed of you, not me." That broke her. She crumpled onto my couch, sobbing for real this time. The aftermath came fast. The kitchen renovation company called about their deposit. Aunt Karen had to cancel. Uncle Kevin's golf club withdrew his membership for unpaid dues. Marcos is frantically job hunting. Brock actually came to me privately, apologized, and asked for advice on budgeting. But here's the real kicker. Remember my parents' old house? The one they lived in before moving to the bigger place? I bought it. Cash. Been fixing it up quietly for months. Yesterday, I moved in. It's smaller than Aunt Karen's house. Needs some work, but it's mine. Paid for? No mortgage. This morning, I drove past their house in my trash car. The fancy granite countertops were being removed. Apparently, the check bounced. Saw Aunt Karen standing in the driveway, watching the workers. She didn't wave. Their Labor Day barbecue? Canceled. The Florida vacation? Refunded. To my account, since it was my card. Their social media accounts? Suddenly very quiet. The trust dissolves in 58 days now. They're scrambling to refinance everything, but with their credit history and income. Good luck. I'm done. Not angry anymore, just done. My parents worked too hard for their money to watch it wasted like this. I'm going to honor their memory by living like they taught me. Within my means, helping others who genuinely need it. Going forward, I'm using the trust money to set up a small scholarship fund for local kids. My parents would have liked that. Oh, and that Toyota they mocked? Just had it detailed. Runs perfect.